Hi, everyone. You're listening to episode 73 of the Fifth Meeple Board Game Podcast. Thanks so much for inviting us to your table. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Fifth Meeple Board Game Podcast. We're a group of diverse friends who offer our takes on the latest and greatest board games to hit our table. I'm your host today, Daniella, the goofy noob, and I'm joined today by the collector.
Hey, this is David.
The intellectual introvert.
Hi, everyone. This is Chris.
And the deluxeifier.
Hello, Pete's here.
All right, today is the final episode of our three-part series where we are each counting down our top 15 board games of all time. But before we get to our lists and finish this episode off, David, what is our topic of discussion for today?
Yeah, so at the time of this episode, holidays are right around the corner, and so this is going to relate a little bit to the holiday season. I'm just having a question, probably a lot of board gamers want answered, is how do you budget for the holiday season as far as your game budget goes? Because a lot of times, this is the time of the year where things are on sale, Black Friday's coming up, Christmas is coming up, you might be buying games for other people or even for yourself. This is the time to do it because a lot of times these deals happen and it's crazy the prices you can get. So do you have a budget going into this season, or do you just buy whatever you feel like, or how do you get through without spending maybe a ton of money, but how do you do it?
I think what I will do, which it might not all be games because I'm an avid book reader as well, but what I would do is probably put things in my cart, you know, like on Amazon or something like that, and watch for price drops. And if I think it is the best price for what I'm looking for, definitely do that. But I'm also plan to go to places. I know Barnes and Nobles always has a great sale around. I think it's Thanksgiving and Christmas in between the time. There's 1 week there where they have great prices on games, or maybe even after Christmas. But I'll go to half price books as well and watch and see if people are kind of clearing out their shelves to make space for other games. Because every time I'm in there, I peruse around and I see what's available and is this something that I'm on my table, or I'll text the guys here, say, is anybody looking for this game? So that's kind of my plan going into it this year.
The struggle is real for me.
I want it all.
Yeah, I do want it all. Fortunately, I do have a very nice collection now. The games that I have, I already have more than enough games that I want to get to the table. So the games that I want to get, there's only a few of them. And I've been trying to pace myself a little bit on purchasing those. There's a couple that we talked about. Inferno, this was one. It's really hot. I am looking to get it. I am kind of chomping at the bit to just go out and buy it. But on the flip side of it, Christmas is coming, and I want to buy presents for other people too. Mm-hmm. So my funds is, unfortunately, they're not unlimited. So I do have to make some hard decisions here. I figure I have enough games right now that I can play probably a new game every week for the next 3 years and still be okay. So I haven't felt that need to go out and buy everything. In the same breath with that, there are games that I want the expansion. I talked about getting the Obsession expansion to that. I do want to get that. I do have a couple other Kickstarters that I have backed. So there's games coming. They're just not coming as fast as they once did.
Yeah, for me, my wife and I traditionally have always set budgets for ourselves for Christmas gifts, for example. And typically we don't follow them with the kids. We do follow them for ourselves. But anymore, when it comes to games, I feel like I've gotten better on the discipline of you don't have to have everything. You played it once. Seems like you got to have it. Give it a couple weeks. And then if it's still calling to you, especially if you got another play, but maybe try to get a couple plays and then buy the ones that truly are different that you know you're going to get to your table. And I've spent the last 30 years working and saving. So I'm at a decent spot now where if I want something, I can get it. And it's really more so a discipline, though, but you don't need everything. Mm-hmm. What's going to make a difference? What's truly going to get used in your collection? And then if I want it, I'll buy it. But again, don't buy everything.
Yeah, I think one of the benefits that we have being friends, I mean, we're sitting in a room full of games. If we want to play something, I'm sure, we could get it to the table. So that immediate need that I know a lot of people might have, especially getting into the hobby. They do want that, because I went through that initially. You want, oh, this looks great. I want to play this and want to play that. And again, as we talked about and going through this top 10 list or top 15 list, you really start to find what you enjoy playing, and those games get to the table more. And that's really what I'm looking for, that game that's going to give me that lasting experience. So if something jumps out at me and I think there's going to be there, yeah, I'll jump on it, but I don't have to get the flavor of the day.
David.
Yeah, I don't really have any good advice for people because I collect everything that I like. But no, my only advice would be this time of year, there's a lot of game sites that run it. Maybe your local board gaming stores running stuff too. To me, as I have kids now, I have 2 kids now, and so my time to go out, to the local board gaming stores is a lot less. I just can't get out there as much as I want to. So I always look for shipping deals. I always have stuff that I want, kind of like Pete, but I'll put it away a little bit because then I know, I want to get that free shipping deal. I want to make sure I bundle stuff together, and a lot of sites I know they're going to be running more sales, this time of year. So I will wait. I will have stuff that I want, but like Pete, I will delay my gratification until I can put together good carts, whether it's gifts or whatever, and then I'll throw my game in just so that we can get free shipping to get it over the line. So that's how I get a lot of my games nowadays. That's why I tell my wife,
I have to buy it
babe,
to get
we
free shipping.
Get a lot of gifts. It's only at $80. You got to get over that 100 mark. I had this game sitting here for a while. I'm just going to add it in here. It's a good deal for everybody.
I have this $120 game that will help us.
Yeah. Well, let us know if you're out there listening, what do you guys do around the holidays? What are you looking forward to maybe purchase, or do you set yourself a budget or anything? We'd love to hear what you guys have to say about that. And you can let us know by sending us an email at thefifthmeeple@gmail.com, or follow us on social media, or check out our website at fifthmeeple.com. And if you really want to help us grow and spread the word, tell your friends about our podcast and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, or interact with us, or however you may listen. Just let us know. All right, enough about all of that. Today is the grand finale where we get to the cream of the crop, at least in our eyes. And today we'll each reveal our absolute top game of all time. We'll start with a quick rundown of the games that appeared earlier on our list, and then we'll break the suspense and get right into the countdown. Today we are going to start with David, so you're going to lead the way. And why don't you remind us what your numbers 10 through 6 are, and then give us your number 5.
Yeah, so my number 10 was SETI, Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. My number 9 was Sky Team. Number 8, The Fellowship of the Ring, the trick-taking game. Number 7, Wondrous Creatures. Number 6, Lost Ruins of Arnak. And coming in hot at number 5 is Lords of Waterdeep, specifically with the Scoundrels of Skullport expansion. So I will only play Lords of Waterdeep if it has the expansion on it, because I think that it's a necessary expansion. And those two are just interchangeable. I won't put the game on the table without it. But for those of you who haven't played Lords of Waterdeep before, I know we talked about it on, I think it was, let's see here, it was on Pete's list at number 11, and also Daniella's list at number 11. So it's a little bit higher up on my list, but I just love this game. It's so easy to get into. It's, worker placement, kind of boiled down to the essentials, but yet with a lot of strategic decision making still on the backside. But yet a new person can just come to the table and they could just jump right in. It's very thematic. It plays at up to 6. And I just love putting on some music and letting people come over and just experience the game. I just think that this game just still shines for me after all these years. Last year was my number 3 game of all time, so it's dropped down to number 5, but I couldn't move it out of my top 5. So number 5, Lords of Waterdeep with the Scoundrels of Skullport expansion.
And you love Skullport because you go there all the time and you are pushing it. Yeah. I don't think I've ever been down in that area too. So when we play, so that's good.
It's very tempting. You get such good things down there.
Yeah.
I really like this game. It's not on my list because I haven't played it enough recently. But I think this is a great game. What's it from 2012 or something? And so it was before everybody felt like I'm going to put 37 new rules onto this game, and it shows that you can have a really good game without adding super complexity into it. It's just got a couple mechanisms, but it does them really, really well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Totally agree.
Yeah, great game for our group. Good pick, David. All right, number 5 for Pete, but run us down your 10 through 6.
All right, coming in at number 10 for me was Castles of Burgundy, followed by number 9, Inferno, Maracaibo at 8, Merchants of the Dark Road at 7, Brian Boru at 6, and surprising as this might be, falling from number 1 is Dwellings of Eldervale. is coming in.
Are you okay?
This was a tough decision, and part of it had to do with what we talked about earlier in some of the other episodes. I just don't get it to the table enough. And there's another game that has also come out by the same designer, Luke Laurie. It is called Andromeda's Edge. Space themed, some of the same mechanics. And to be fair, we also recently played a game called, what was the name of the game?
Energy Empire?
Energy Empire, also designed by Luke Laurie. And when I played that game, it really made me think about this game a little bit. And just as you said earlier about Lords of Waterdeep, sometimes you can have a boiled down version of a game and it's just as good as being super complicated. And as much as I really love this game, it's number 5. I mean, by no means is it going away for me. It's just not getting to the table much. But the worker placement on this, having the different types of workers going out, which do different things. There's some battling for some positions on the board. And taking those meeples that you have and actually turning them into dwellings, I think was a very unique mechanic on it. Just so many different factions that you can play. They all play similar, but they give you that one little edge or one little change that really can kind of mix up the game a little bit. Mm-hmm. So again, my number 5, falling from number 1. Who knows where it'll be next year? Might go back up a little bit, but Dwellings of Eldervale. There we have it.
It's probably been 2 years since I played that with you, so I vaguely remember it. I remember like a wizard. That's about it.
Yep. It's been a while.
I absolutely love that you love this game.
The the monster noises, man. Pete's got like the
he's got the
version.
special thing.
I mean, you slam them and they
And
do
you
something.
made
you
little,
move 'em and
you
they-
made like little covers, right? For
I
you kinda
deluxified this beyond belief. I made
shellacked it.
I think that's part of the reason why there's, we talk about some games that have some nostalgia. And this was early on in my revival of my gaming. And I took this game and I took it to the next level. And I really enjoyed it. It still is a great game, great mechanics. Really like it. It's just I haven't gotten to the table that much.
Pete, do you think if you're into board gaming, do you think you have to have both Andromeda's Edge and Dwellings of Everdell? Or do you think you could pick one or the other?
I think if you like one theme over the other, I would lean in towards the theme that you prefer. I think the mechanics are very similar. I think Andromeda's Edge smoothed a lot of the edges. They made the combat a lot simpler and better. Again, I will play either one of these, but it's dropped a bit for me.
Interesting.
All right, Chris, your 10 through 6, and then your number 5.
My number 10 was Spirit Island. I followed that up with Shackleton Base. Took a little U-turn or a side turn to Blueprints of Mad King Ludwig, and then Schadenfreude, and then finished up at number 6 on Eldritch Horror. In my top 5, my number 5 game is one that I've only ever played twice in its cardboard form, but I have over 173 plays of it on Board Game Arena. Daniella talked about this in an earlier episode. My number 5 top game of all time is Planet Unknown, designed by Ryan Lambert and Adam Rayberg and published by Adam's Apple Games. We covered this in our very first episode. I have loved it ever since. It's a space-themed polyomino game, so it has potential to be sloughed off as, another one of those. But when you place a tile, you move up on one or more tech tracks, and the way those two things interact, I think, is really well done in this game. And then you have a significant amount of asymmetry in both the planets where you place your tiles as well as the corporation board where those tech tracks are. It's simultaneous play with that innovative Lazy Susan mechanism. The solo mode's also pretty good on BGA because it takes care of the calculations that you have to do. I'm actually a bit surprised this is still up here for me, but there's a lot of replayability, and every time I revisit it, I'm just reminded how much I actually enjoy this game. We still haven't played that. Is it the Supermoon expansion, David?
Supermoon expansion.
Still haven't done that. BGG has Planet Unknown at 175 overall, 7.8 rating. This was number 3 for me last year. It drops a little bit due to recent play count, although I've been getting a couple plays in here in the past couple weeks. But Planet Unknown is still my number 5 top game of all time.
Good pick.
Yeah, it might be time to bring this back to the table. I think we did our very first episode was on this game. I'm pretty sure. So maybe it's time to revisit this game with the Supermoon expansion.
I would love that.
Pete, you have not played this still? Is that right?
I have not played it. I think I did try to play it solo once. I think I watched you and your brother play online, and I tried it afterwards, and I don't know what I was doing.
Okay.
So,
Well, especially for the solo. If you don't know the game yet, you're not
Yeah.
going to know what you're trying to do in the solo.
right.
So, yeah.
All right. I think that settles it. Trying to get it back to the table, guys. Going down through my list, my number 10 started with that cozy little Grand Austria hotel. My number 9 is Castles of Burgundy. 8, Alien Frontiers. 7 was Wondrous Creatures. 6, Lost Ruins of Arnak, just to mimic David once again on both of those. And my number 5 is Dune Imperium. All right, Dune Imperium. This is done by Paul Denon. It is BGG ranking number 5. In this game, you are really kind of on planet working with the whole force of Dune, honestly, doing influence, intrigue, and combat in the universe of Dune. This game is a unique, I think, deck building game that does have interesting influence depending on your unique player card that you're getting, your leader card, I guess. You're vying for resources that are pretty hard to get with some of the water and things like that, as well as just the internal battling that you're doing too. I think this game is extremely smooth and clean, and I did well playing it, and I won. So that was good for me. When we first played this game too, I was like, oh, this is just going to be like some cheap carbon copy that somebody took the game or the books or the movies, if you will, and pasted it onto some, board game and tried to make it like Arrakis and all this other stuff. But I don't know. I think it did a really good job. I truly enjoyed this game. And for me, it is one of the games that if it's out on the table, I'm sitting down to play it.
I'm glad this is on your list. I'm surprised it's so high, but I like this game. Good choice.
I know there's some new versions out there. I haven't played any of those. From what I've heard on the new versions, there's a little bit more to do with battling. And I think the beauty of this game with the version that you're talking about, there is that skirmish in the middle, but it's not the end all be all. There are other ways to actually win the game going up that influence track. Yeah. And you don't necessarily need to win those battles. You need the other people to battle back and forth to keep each other. So there's that race again to the top to 10 points. And there's some hidden information too at the end. And I think, Daniella, you won by flipping over a card and having an extra point or two that others didn't see coming. So, yeah, good game. Deck builders, I do like this one. I think actually on the board, as much as we talk about, the colors are kind of dry. Yeah. Well, it is Dune. I mean, that's kind of the thing. Yeah. But they did a really good job with the icons being very clear on what the locations are. It's a triangle or a square, and the colors are very vibrant, and you can differentiate what those cards go to. And I think the cards iconography is really good, and I think the cards are fairly thematic too.
Like the Bene Gesserit and all those, they were exactly how you would expect them to be or played.
Yeah, great game.
All right, let's go down to number 4, David.
Yeah, for my number 4 game, this is new to my list for this year, and Chris has mentioned it before, so this was Chris's number 11. It is my number 4. This is Endeavor Deep Sea. So for those who don't know, Endeavor Deep Sea, you're basically going out there, surveying the ocean, and as you're doing that, you are doing action points and having researchers and stuff like that you can get specialists that you go out and you're basically collecting points to try to win this game. And I know that's really bad description of this game, but it is so good. You probably have heard of this game before. And what really stands out for me in this game is just how easy it is to teach somebody that's new to the hobby. A decently complex game, because I just love the way that the very first round, I just taught somebody this game yesterday, just going through everything, and we're just going to do that 6 more times, and that's the game. And it starts to build on itself. The first couple of rounds, are lightning quick because there's not much you can do, but as the game starts evolving, building out that map, building out that ocean, there's a lot of good decision making that goes involved with it. One of the best things I like about this game is that there are different maps in there, so every time you can pull out a new map. There's about 10 different maps in there, and they change up the way that the game is played on how the map's built out, the different structures, and what you're racing for. And to me, the added freshness of that is just something that I'm always looking for a game, because I could hit the table more, I could keep playing it, see different things, explore it in different ways. There's also a co-op I've never explored. I heard it's pretty difficult, but there is an expansion for this game that's coming out that I did kickstart and back. So I'm looking forward to seeing even more content, even though I haven't played through everything in the base game yet, but I'm looking forward to getting everything played there. But every time I play it, I like it more. And it's the kind of co-op where, it's the kind of competitive game where you're playing, but you're not necessarily, you're doing stuff that actually benefits other people. So a lot of the chaining in the game, you're chaining with other people. So there's a lot of positive interaction in the game. Instead of destroying somebody off the board, you're kind of building stuff with other people and getting those benefits together, which I like about this game as far as that positive interaction goes.
Unless you're Pete.
You're trying for the turtles.
Yeah. Then you're just off doing your own thing. Everybody's ignoring you. I really like this game. I think, Daniella, you really like this game too. I don't want to speak for you.
I'll have more to say.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pete, you don't like this game.
Yeah, that's not true.
Pete,
I should
whatever.
like this game. I do need to give this another try, and I think a part of it was I just had some poor experiences early on. But listening to you talk about it, I agree. I mean, there's everything I should like about this game, and it just hasn't hit me yet. So maybe in a little bit it'll get there for me.
You know why you don't like this game, Pete? I know why.
Because I can't swim?
Because you can't push endgame. I was just messing. There's only a set amount of rounds, so yeah, no, I'm just messing. But
Could be.
yeah, maybe we'll interact with you more if you're nice to us on the other games. I don't know. So
All right, we'll try that.
All right, Pete, take us to your number 4.
All right, my number 4 is a game that was not on my list last year. This has been included in this list because I played a lot on BGA, and it is called Distilled by Paverson Games. Right now on BGG, it is rated at rank number 266. It came out in 2023. They did just finish another Kickstarter. I think it's the last expansion for it, which, again, I have invested some of my money for Christmas to pay for that. So as I talked about earlier, this is a game I do like. And what I really found when I was playing it on BGA by myself against the bot or the solo variant where you're trying to do different things, I really learned that there's a lot of things that I was not doing. I don't want to say correctly, but I learned a lot about the game and playing it a lot better. And I really want to get this one on the table and play. Now, the shuffling the cards, again, it's fairly thematic. You're building a distillery. You're trying to make spirits and sell those spirits. And it's just a game I really like. Paverson Games, they did come out with a new game, Luthier, which is themed with musicians, and that I played that recently. Really like that. That has not made my list, but I just wanted to call that out. That type of in-depth on the game, I really liked it. And Distilled, really like this one. Want to play it some more.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have to find a worthy opponent to Distilled, because I think it's a game that I want to play a little bit more too. I know we played it back in the day, and I haven't touched it since. I actually bought a copy because I liked it that much, but just something that hasn't hit my table. So, with the new expansion and stuff coming out, maybe it's a good time to get it into a battle soon.
Yeah, it's another game with a unique theme. I really like that. I played it. Looking at the number of plays, 39 times, so quite a bit. Some of that's online, but a lot of that's in person too.
I've played this one time, and it's not that I don't want to play it again. I do, but the one time I played it, it didn't necessarily call out to me and say you got to play this a bunch more. But at the same time, I feel like I need to go back and explore that, because I feel like there's enough there to draw me in. But at the same time, I haven't gone on BGA and tried a solo or anything like that.
Yeah, I think we probably, I don't know if we all played at the same time, but I have the same sentiments, Chris, of just didn't knock my socks off. Like creating the different things to make the ale and the other spirits that we were doing, it kind of just didn't really do it for me. But again, open and willing to play it again to see.
One of the things I didn't like about it, and I think you tried to do some aging the time we played together, but it's like, okay, I made something, now I can't benefit from it. Now I'm behind because I'm trying to age some things. And I think that the newest expansion takes care of some of that and allows you, if you wanted to sell it early or do some things like that. And so I do also think he's trying to fix some things that from feedback he's gotten.
Totally agree. And that's one of the reasons why I bought it, and one of the reasons why I think I bumped up. One of the things, instead of just having one distill vat, you can actually buy another one so you can spend money to actually have two brews going at the same time, which I think is really going to smooth out the game.
All right, Chris, number 4.
My number 4 game is another tile placing game with several twists. And actually, the next couple games are going to be games that you've heard before if you've been listening to the last couple, but they're higher for me. This was actually number 2 for me last year. This year, it's number 4. This is Castles of Mad King Ludwig, designed by Ted Alspach and published by Bezier Games. In Castles of Mad King Ludwig, each round you'll buy a room tile, you'll add it to a castle that you continue to expand throughout the game. Each room is one of 10 different shapes and has one or more doors, at least one of which you need to align with an existing door. And if you align all the doors of a room, it gives you a bonus. There's a neat mechanic here where you take turns setting the prices for the various rooms, and that's the main way to get money. To buy those rooms is to have other people buy them when you're in charge, or you're the master architect or whatever it's called. The theme is excellent in my mind. Some of the names of the rooms are pretty funny with that theme. There's a bottomless pit as one example. But the bottom line is that it's just a fun game to play, at least for me. It's not a super brain-burning puzzle, but there is a puzzle there, and I enjoy the heck out of playing it. We talked about this in episode 22. Officially, I've logged 17 plays of this. In reality, I have an app for this on my iPad that I don't count games on. I've played it well over 100 times there. BGG has Castles of Mad King Ludwig at 223 overall, 7.5 rating, way too low as far as I'm concerned for me. Castles of Mad King Ludwig, number 4, top game of all time.
I missed out on that app too.
You did. I got mine free.
I know, bummed. I should have downloaded it. I wonder how much it's costing right now to buy it if you had to, but
I saw it and I waved at it.
I mean, yeah, we talked about this in another episode. I like this game a lot as well. It's made my top 15 list, and we talked about just the betting and the placing of those and how that extra mechanism in the game makes it fun and competitive, and I enjoy it as well. A little bit more interesting than just tile placing.
Yeah.
And if you play my version, you can pick just about any color swan you want because there's about 20 different. I did pick up the deluxe version when they were.
I remember being like, "Can 20 people play this?"
Yeah. I'll tell PS I'm playing green. He's like, "Okay, but what shade of green?"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
This Mad King keeps showing up. I don't understand.
The king is mad at you, David.
I know. Okay. I'm very confused.
All right, my number 4 is Everdell by James A. Wilson. It has a BG ranking of 41. And this is a game where you are gathering resources to develop a harmonious village of woodland critters and structures. So this is another, I'm going to use the word cozy again. I truly thought this was going to be some weird game that was ho-hum, that everybody was like obsessed with it, like Wingspan. And I was going to be like, oh my gosh, like rolling my eyes at it. And like when it was out on the table, I'm like, all right, this is like really cool and nice and the colors are beautiful. But when we started to get into it, I was genuinely impressed with how smooth it was, how kind of difficult it was to get some of the resources and just match the critters with the locations and the themes that they had to actually go with, you know, because you could truly be saving your whole game just to not get the queen or whatever you needed in that one critter and just end up ruining kind of like your whole game. But it truly, again, I think it shocked me how much I enjoyed this game and I enjoyed playing it. I think we played it back to back, and the game overall just left a really positive taste in my mouth, and I wanted to play more. And I could see the appeal after playing this, why people are genuinely interested in this game. And I thought it was cutesy, and the table presence was great, and tree is a little bit much, but I get it.
I'm okay with the cozy label on this one. I think it is cozy. The theme is fantastic. Incorporated well into the mechanics or the mechanisms as well, to where, hey, if you're building something that's made of wood, you're getting twigs. And if you're trying to entice people out, you're feeding them with berries and all that. Really well done. And a game that the more I've played it, my scores have continued to go up. And so as I learn more, I'm learning more how to manipulate things. And hey, there's a lot more depth in there than when I first, how likely is it your cards are going to come up? Well, you learn ways to prepare yourself for when they do and to adjust for when they don't. So I've actually looked at buying this game a couple of times. I haven't. It was on sale just a couple of weeks ago. I did not pull the trigger, but I was surprised. I wasn't sure about this game, and I'd play it. Someone puts it on the table, I'm sitting down.
Yeah, there's some newer versions that are out. I actually had my eye on the most recent one that was coming out. I think it has some winter theme with it that I've been interested in, and haven't pulled the trigger on it. That's kind of on my wish list. So something to think about. I might have my other version for sale soon. I'll let you guys know.
Yeah, good choice, Daniella. I think this is a classic game. It's there for a reason. So Very good choice.
All right, let's move to our top 3, guys. David, number 3 for you.
So number 3 was on my list last year, so it's no surprise to anybody. But it was number 2 last year, so it's only moved down one spot. But this is still my favorite deduction game of all time. This is Search for Planet X. I can't say enough good things about it if you've never heard about it. Basically, Search for Planet X is a deduction board game where players act as astronomers, searching for a mysterious planet at the edge of the solar system. We use a companion app to do this, and each game features a unique arrangement of celestial objects and logic-based clues. Players gather information through scans and conferences, marking clues on their player sheets, and publishing theories to score points. The game ends when someone correctly identifies Planet X's location, with all players getting a final chance to earn points before determining a winner. And you don't actually have to find Planet X in order to win. It's harder to do, but there are ways to win without finding Planet X. But the real reason why I love this game is that, I love the concept of searching out there for a planet that you're looking for. And I normally don't like games with apps, but this one is done so well that, it's really changed my opinion just on app-based games and how you can integrate those two things together. To everybody who says, I would never play an app-based game, this is the game I show them because I think this is deduction done at the highest level. I think it actually enhances the deduction experience versus just cardboard components that other games don't bring to the table. And I just love it. I can't get enough of it. It's a game I'll play any day of the week, but it's awesome. And the other thing I really like about this game is that you can play at different levels, meaning that if you have a beginner, they can get more clues in the beginning based off the app, and I can play in expert mode, and we can be playing on the same map. And it's just a lot more challenging for me because maybe I don't have a single clue to start the game, and Daniella has 8 clues to start the game, and and we're very competitive the whole way through. So that's one thing I love about this game is that you can pick the level of hardness or the level of challenge that you want on this game and play at the same table with people that are experiencing it for the first time and actually having a competitive experience.
You've been talking about this for a year or two, and I still haven't played it, but I'm itching.
Come on over.
I know.
No, let
I'm
me know
here.
let me know when you're gonna play it. I'll come too.
I was just gonna say we got a laundry list going of games.
I played this a couple of times. Honestly, didn't knock my socks off. It kind of reminds me of Clue in the way, you're getting certain things and you're eliminating certain things and not others. And we were only playing on what I would say is the easier side of the board. We never flipped it to the hard side when I was playing with you. I'm sure you
Correct.
have. You mentioned it has an app, and I know, Pete, in an earlier episode, you were talking about a game that had an app. And what I wonder is what happens if that company goes out of business, or what happens if all of a sudden that app's not available, the game is unplayable?
Search for Planet X would be unplayable, yes. I don't know about Father's Works, but
With My Father's Work, they have ported it over so you can play like an online, offline version of it where all the solutions are there and the options. And they talked about that too, that if that were ever to fall out, they would throw out into like a domain where anybody can go in and modify it.
Okay. Yeah, I got to, Search for Planet X, unplayable. And I've seen some, how many times does a Kickstarter company just, you can't hear from them? And yeah, if someone's going bankrupt, I don't know how much time they're going to spend on making sure I get this out there for people when they're trying to survive. And that's one of my concerns. The app it works real well. It doesn't take away from the experience, but if it's not there for some reason, it's unplayable.
yeah, and I was looking online while you've been talking about this, and there are, because it has such a large fan base, there are people that have made stuff on here that it seems like it would be playable even without the app. So I'm seeing here people are putting that you could play with a game master, you can do different things. It seems like there's a lot of other modes that the community has made for it. So I take it back. Maybe you can play without the app, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Pete, let's hit your number 3.
Oh, my number 3 is Holding Steady from last year, was also number 3. This is the heaviest game that I have on my list. It is Tricarian Legends of Illusion. It's a 4.26. People around the table generally don't like it. Fortunately, my other game group, which is a lot cooler, like to play. Oh, no, I'm sorry, I didn't say that. No, actually, my other game group, they do enjoy it. So Bob and I will play this often. This is another game that melts Dave's brain as well. He'll play it with me just to entertain me along with it. But I like the hidden aspect of it. You're blind bidding on where you want to go with what strength you have and the different characters. And then when that character gets flipped over, everybody's doing that same action based on the order, similar to some other games that are out there like that. But this is a game where you really have to. It is a brain burner. You have to think about your next 2 or 3 moves. You have to plan accordingly, and there's ways to manipulate some of the areas and kind of change things around a little bit. Really in-depth game. I just like it for that level of complexity. I don't play this a lot. I only have about 6 plays in it, but the plays that I have always been memorable, to say the least.
We played this. I played this one time at Dave's place. On. I think it was a Dave's place, and it was the second game we played that night. This is probably a 4-point something weight.
4.26.
Yeah, it's really heavy. And then I'm vaguely remembering, because I have not had a desire to go back and play it again. But like you said, you're secretly deciding what you're going to do, and it's so hard already. And if someone gets there ahead of you, you may not be able to do what you want to do when it's already so hard. And I remember leaving there, I was like, oh, my head hurts. And I just wouldn't say I had fun on it. I can see where the fun is. I didn't feel it.
Yeah, and I think that to be fair, I think that it was one of the first few teaches I did, and I don't know that I had some of the rules exactly right, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to set up your magician tricks, and other people are also adding to it because they can go there and you perform tricks together and you get points in that, and there's some manipulation that goes on, and I think trying to get that explanation down, I might not have done it justice in doing it, but when I played with Bob, he knew what we were doing. We really did have a great time on it.
You know, Pete, I might have to give you Endeavor Deep Sea so you can play with the other game group, so it can make your top 15 next year, because maybe they'll combo with you, and then you'll really enjoy that game more, too.
All right, let's do it.
Okay.
All right, Chris, let's hit your 3.
Excellent.
My number 3 top game of all time moved up a couple spots since last year. One of you mentioned, I think it was David earlier in your list. This is Cascadia, designed by Randy Flynn and published by Flat Out Games. We talked about this also in episode 9, relatively early in our podcast life, which was an eventful episode for other reasons as well. This is a relatively straightforward tile placement game where you're also drafting animal tokens to place onto those tiles. Variability comes in with several different ways available to score each animal. If you just look at the animals that come in the base game, there's over 1,000 combinations just in that base game. This is a game you can play with seasoned hardcore gamers, or you can play with newbies. The solo scenarios, in my opinion, are excellent. They give you different restrictions along with a target score in a semi-simulation of a 2-player game. It's really why it moved up to number 3 for me, because the solo scenarios, in my opinion, are just that good. I think this is a must-have for anybody in the hobby. BGG has Cascadia at 54 overall. It's number 1 in the abstract category, but for me, it's number 3 top game of all time.
I have nothing bad to say about that pick, Chris.
Pete does.
It's an interesting game. I don't hate it, but I also don't. It doesn't call to me. Like, I'll play it, but I think you have to have some true headspace to play it. I know it sounds silly because you put it out and you're like, oh, you got these cute little tiles, but you really have to be able to link and chain and make sure you're getting the land tiles that all match and the animals, and there's layers of different chaining that go on it. I've had a little bit of trouble in the last couple of games we've played of layering different goals to try and get max points. So you have to be able to do that in this game, and again have a little bit more of a clear mind. So again, not difficult, not a bad game, I'll say, but it requires some brain power. So that's
what you're describing is one of the reasons why I like the solo scenario so much, is because it jacks that up a little bit. And okay, it's solo scenario one, it's not too bad, but when it starts to put those restrictions of, okay, you can't put an elk next to a bear, you can't put an elk in the woods, and you have to do all these things, and you need a string of 8 elk, and you need to get 95 points overall.
Yeah.
Then it's really, okay, I need to really put it into this, and I like that about the way that even jacks it up a little bit.
Elk poops in the woods does it, yeah. So
this game just doesn't appeal to me. There's games I like and games I don't. I just don't feel it, and that's fine. You guys,
I can see where this is not your type of game. I 1000% understand that. I would not predict this as one of your favorite games. It tickles me every time I play it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So we're all different.
We are. All
Pete tickles me every time we play too. But
that's weird. Good thing we moved you guys opposite seats today. He's been tickling me.
Kind of tired of it.
Okay. My number 3 is what a couple people have already touched on, is Endeavor Deep Sea by Carl de Visser and Jarrett Gray. This is number 141 on BGG. And in this game, you are leading a research institute to explore ocean depths and publish your findings. And many people have already talked on this, but the amazing board development in this game was so mind-blowing when we were doing this, and so thematic of let's dive deeper. Let's see what's in those deeper depths. Let's keep going and let's keep bringing those pieces out, because you're getting awards for doing that as well in the game. And the theme of it all, the chaining of the actions of what you could do, just left me very satisfied as we were playing and as you're going through the game. Thematic and potentially cooperative if you want that game. And again, we already had written down, we were laughing about Pete's turtle little thing, and nobody was helping him, and he was making it very vocal and known that people were not helping in his turtle research. So
we couldn't hear you. We were underwater.
That's all right.
Overall, I mean, and then we did play not a variant, but we did have a tile come out where there was blockage or a cave, and you could not go into it certain ways. So overall, I just remember playing this, and as we're discovering and learning more, and again, as I said, chaining, it's just incredible game, incredible gameplay. It was great.
Where did you say this is on BGG?
141.
Yeah, that's going to go up, right? I think it's just availability. The game is so good; it's been really popular. It won the Kenner Spiel. As more people get it, it's gonna move up.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you hear about a game and you're like, does it actually live up to the hype? I feel with this game, it has lived up to the hype.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't disappointed. I would say the one caveat I would give with Endeavor Deep Sea is I would play it at least at 3 or 4. Just because at 2, if that's your first play experience, you might not see everything that we're seeing. So I would recommend going to 3 or 4. It still plays well at 2, but 3 or 4 is where this game I feel like really sings. I will play it at 5 anytime too, but I feel like if it's your first time and you want to have that experience, at least get 3 people to the table.
Maybe we need to develop like a 2-player variant or something that simulates a 3rd player to get more of that board out there or something like that.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that. Yeah, that'd be good.
All right. Getting down to our number 2, David, yours.
Okay, my number 2 is new to me this year, and it is Shackleton Base, A Journey to the Moon. Those of you who've been following this podcast, you probably saw that one coming. But for those of you who don't know what Shackleton Base is, it is a strategy board game where players lead space agencies building a lunar base in the Shackleton crater on the moon, while also supporting projects from 3 randomly chosen corporations out of 7 corporations in the game. Each corporation is great because they introduce unique projects, actions, scoring methods, making every gameplay vastly different. But what I like about this game is that the players, we all draft shuttle tiles for resources and also for turn order, which I think is a really cool aspect of this game. We also deploy astronauts onto the board. We kind of do a little area control. And I normally am not a fan of area control, but this game does worker placement and area control the way I like it, which I never thought I would say that because I'm not an area control kind of person, but Shackleton Base does it right for me to the point where I'm like, oh, I might get into, area control if it does it this way. But just the interactions with the corporations, they vary the gameplay so much. And I love seeing that, just kind of how those elements, I've never played this game yet where I've been disappointed by how those corporations interact and just the randomness that it brings. I've played at all kind of different player counts on here. I've also played this game solo. I've loved every experience I've had with it. And I'm just really excited to keep playing this game. So that's kind of where I rate it.
Yeah, this was number 9 for me. It would be higher if I owned it because I'd get to play it more often. Really, really good game. Again, Daniella didn't like it, but that's okay.
And I think, but there was a lot of muddiness in my opinion. Well, first of all, it's a pretty heavy game. And number 2, it was that some of the things were not clear on how they worked on the game or on the board. And maybe that was, again, just my incomprehension of what we were doing. But there were certain places in areas like research areas or factions or wherever we were going to that was like, either the iconography or something was not as fluid and clear as I thought it should have been. And after 2 plays, I was like, I'm still not understanding what I can do at this space. So that was frustrating.
Yeah, the first play of this one kind of was painful for me too. I started off really good and thinking I was doing all right, and I had a blast and fairly far behind. The second play of it really came out for me. I enjoyed it much, much better. I had a better idea of how to play the game, which is always helpful.
Yes.
So I do like this game. It's not on my list. A little spoiler there. It's not going to be number one for me. But I did enjoy this game. Maybe kind of on a list. I don't know. If it were to pop up, I might buy it, but I'm not sure yet.
Yeah. For me, if I see a decent price on this, it'll be on my shelf.
Mm-hmm. Good. All right. Pete, number 2.
All right. Holding steady at number 2 from last year. The number 1 game on BGG is Brass Birmingham. We talked a little bit about this before. This is just an all-around good game. I brought it to the table at my sister's house, taught my nephews, and they just had a great time playing it. I like the mechanics of it where, the more you spend, the farther back you get in a bidding war, where you get to go in order of your bidding. So you spend a lot of money this round, next round, you're going to be back at the bottom. And the thing that I really like about the game is the shared resources. And that takes a little bit of explaining initially with people on how you can get coal or, sharing those resources. I build a coal mine. Well, you can use it if you're connected to it where you're going. There's a little bit, but after you get over those hurdles, and they're not big hurdles, you just need to understand them, that coal needs to be connected, but metal does not need to be connected. And you can buy that from anywhere, and there's no pathways or anything like that. And same thing with beer. Well, you can use your beer if it's connected, but if it's yours, it doesn't have to be connected. So there's some stickiness on there. If you can get through that explanation, I think it's really great. The interaction with people, because you are doing some negotiation. I'll build this. Are you going to use it? And of course, there's non-binding, promises. So, and at the end of the game, you're really trying to make sure that all of your resources have been used and flipped over, and you spent everything that you got. Great game. I will play it anytime it's on the table.
I think I need a reteach. I truly, I don't understand the hype, but that's fine.
I think it's a really good game. I haven't played it in a while. Again, it's one of those that I need to get. I know when I get it to my table, it's going to stay on there. I'm going to play it several times. The other thing I like, but maybe it can run me wrong. But then it's like, okay, I got to go that again. It can get really tight towards the end of the game. You're trying to, okay, I got four turns, I got to do something. And then Pete comes in and takes the coal you needed, or steals. Typically, you're stealing my beer, and so sometimes that can be a little because it's not a quick game. It's a longer game, and inevitably, I've got a certain number of cards in my hand. I'm like, oh my gosh, I only have 3 turns left, and then I've got just 3 turns to figure that out. But at the same time, that's part of what makes that game so great. It is tight. You're trying to read other people. Maybe you're trying to set up other people, take advantage of other people, and say, I know they're going to need that, so they're going to help me score these points. It's really good. It didn't make my list because of number of plays, but I think it earns it. It's number 1 position.
Yeah, we played this at a church night, and one of the other guys that was there, again, sometimes people know games inside and out. He just schooled us on points, and he did a strategy. I didn't even see it coming. There was beer flowing. I don't know what he was doing, but he did a fantastic job. And I think that just goes to show that there's not just one way to win the game. And he did something that I didn't even anticipate. Normally it's like, okay, we want to build and maximize stuff. But he was doing things that were just amazing. And it just goes to show that the game really does have a lot of different avenues of winning the game.
Number 2, Chris.
My number 2 game is one of those where as soon as I played it, I knew I had to own it. David ended up finding me a decently priced copy, and I have enjoyed it ever since. More recently, Pete and I have been playing this on Board Game Arena, and that just reminded me again of how good I think it is. My number 2 top game of all time is The Castles of Burgundy, designed by Stefan Feld and published by Ravensburger. This is another tile drafting game. I really like tile drafting games. And in this case, the tiles you take are limited by a dice roll, and where you place them in your predefined grid is also controlled by dice, as well as the tile type. It's a bit of a point salad, but you definitely have control of that point salad, and the decisions you make matter along the way. I've said to Pete multiple times as we're playing on Board Game Arena that for me, this game's just as fun when you lose as when you win. It's just an enjoyable ride the entire time through. And whenever I finish a game, I want to start another one right away. I just enjoy it that much. I'll also say that the implementation of Board Game Arena, I think, is really well done. It's not unusual to find me and Pete, again, hashing out a game online. In fact, when I was preparing for this episode, I stopped typing mid-sentence and I invited Pete to a game on Board Game. I was like, we got to get one going here. And so, I finished the paragraph. I'll give Pete a chance to see that I invited him. BGG has this at number 16 overall. It's an 8.2 rating. For me, I like it enough to make the Castles of Burgundy my number 2 top game of all time.
All right. Yeah. A couple of us have touched on this one as well. And great. I think it's a good game. I'm actually surprised it's number 2 for you. So, but yeah.
You're surprised
I'm
that
not.
it's...
That's that high. Yeah. Because I feel like there's a lot of games that you...
Yeah, it's just we've been playing it a lot, Pete and I, and it's just, again, every time I play, I was like, my gosh, that was fun.
Good.
And just to point that out too, that there's some complexity in there. Not so much complexity, but there's a lot of strategy in it. And like I said, I played with my buddy Jeff and his mom and sister, and they love the game. They play it like every night, I think, just to the point that it's very accessible. It's not one of these games. It's not a Tricarian that's going to melt your brain. But I think you said it very accurately, the decisions you make matter. This is a game that you may not win, but you can lose if you don't play it right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good choice, Chris. It's climbing up my ranks as well, but not yet into my top 15.
All right. My number 2 is Aquatica. This is designed by Ivan Tuskovsky. It is really low. BGG ranking 574. And the description on this game is about recruiting heroes and conquering locations in a race to expand your kingdom under the sea. This, for me, was another one of these underwater, kind of just gorgeous sea games for me. When you learn to chain your actions in this game, you can have a really satisfying turn overall. You have this little player mat board in front of you, and as you're completing things or moving your cards up, you're able to slide and tuck those cards up under, so they're moving under your personal board. And as they rise in front of you, you're able to, again, chain and link different actions and get more points. And the way that, again, you work towards that is just very satisfying overall playing this game. Again, I liked going out. I liked exploring the cards that you are dealt. They're not difficult at all to understand them. They're very legible. You understand after a couple plays what each different underwater sea person or creature does. And you're kind of then looking for those different animals or creatures to build your kind of like the deck in your hand. And as you're going through it, and then exploring and diving in different areas, I don't know. For me, when that chaining action finally took hold, I was like on a roll. So it was enjoyable for me. I really liked playing this. And when we played it, I don't know, maybe the second or third time that we had pulled it out, I was like, I really want to play this. I know what I'm doing this time. And was able to make some things work for me. So it's just one of the games that, again, opened my eyes to a different type of game, a different type of action that, I love dice rolling, but it's not dice rolling in this game. It's not that simple, right? It's another cool little thing that someone had thought of. And it just, I don't know, it was really great for me to play. So that's
the chaining can be a lot of fun when you set things up to have that epic chain. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this, and moving those things over. That's a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun playing this, and it doesn't overstay its welcome. I've played this 8 times according to my stats, and my average game time is just under an hour. And so you can get through a decent game in a decent amount of time. And I've played this again with my son, who's a big gamer, my daughter, who plays a lot of games with me, but isn't that heavier type gamer. She picked this up just fine, and we all 3 played together. It was a good time.
Yeah, I like the economies that you have because there's 2 different resources. There's what is it? Tridents and money, I believe it is. Yeah. So that balance and trying to figure out which ones because you can't spend it on one or the other. You got to make a decision on what you're going to do. So I like that. And deck builders, I do enjoy that. I like the pullback mechanic. I believe that has where you have to make that decision. Well, when do I want to replenish my hand and take that action to pull everything back? So really good mechanics that work, I think, very well together.
All right, guys, we are getting down to our number ones. David.
Yeah, my number 1 game all time is not going to be a surprise to anybody if you listen to this podcast. It is number 1 last year and this year. It is Lock Up, a Role Player Tale.
Wow.
Nobody has taken the cake from that for me. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people that don't know about this game because it's only rated 1,336 on BGG, which is a shame. So you should go out there and buy this game. You can get a copy pretty cheap. And Lock Up, for those of you who don't know, it's a Role Player Tale, is a competitive worker placement game where players command squads of fantasy minions imprisoned in Kolbach prison during the Dragul invasion of Nalos. Players allocate their crews to different prison locations, balancing open and hidden strength to outmaneuver rivals, gather resources, recruit goons, and craft contraband to boost their reputation. Managing suspicion is crucial in this game, as high suspicion leads to guard raids and setbacks. After 6 rounds, the player with the highest reputation earns the chance for freedom and wins the game. But the real reason why I like Lock Up, a Role Player Tale, is because of the unique blend of open and hidden worker placement. You probably noticed a trend in my top 5. A lot of them are worker placements, but it's different takes on worker placement. And this one, I feel like, is the cream of the crop as far as hidden information. Being able to bluff people by putting minions face down, kind of trying to outmaneuver them. I will say this is my number 1 game. I played it quite a bit. I still don't win a lot, unfortunately, because I always go with the power route. So I know there's a lot of different ways to win the game, but I'm just so addicted to the power route, I can't go away from it. But either way, I have a really good time playing this game, and tragically, I think it's rated too low on people's lists, so it needs to get up there, because this game is vastly overlooked, and I think it does something in worker placement that's very unique, and does it at the best of its ability as far as what it does well on taking these two different things together. So that's my take on it. But Lock Up, a Role Player's Tale, number 1 game.
David, have you won this game yet?
No.
I think I won the first time we played. I do like the hidden worker placement where you're trying to determine how much power you're putting in. Any game where I'm playing against the players, not necessarily against the game, I really enjoy that. So there's that. Am I going to out strategize you or outplay or outmaneuver? Am I holding back workers, waiting to make that last move to determine if I think I can win that spot? And there's times you want to win the spot. Sometimes you want to come in second, but very good game. I like it thematically. It's got a unique theme. I think it works for it. So yeah, good choice.
I haven't played it anywhere near as much as I thought I did, but I've enjoyed every single play.
I don't even have it logged, so it's been
That's
a long
tragic.
time. Well,
Yeah,
it's been a long time since we played. So I remember I found it a little difficult. Is this the one that has like a prison you can go to?
Yes, this
Okay.
is you're in a prison.
But is there?
There's an expansion where
Yeah.
you can also start to explore the underground.
You're
Yeah.
you're
You try
digging
to
your
dig-
way out.
You
I
dig
like
your way out.
vaguely remember it, so I don't have much to say.
Yeah,
But
the expansion is also very good, and I'd play with it. But
I also highly recommend getting the extra tiles, the
Yes.
deluxe version.
I do have those as well.
Does make the game much better.
Yes.
all right, great.
Well, not much better, but better.
And this game is relatively cheap, so I collect a lot of games. Right now, you can find a copy used for $25. I don't think it has the deluxe fight components in it, but it's a good
Still
game.
works. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
No, don't. Gotta have the deluxe components.
All right, Deluxeifier, what is your number 1?
All right. Well, you heard my number 1 last year, Dwellings of Eldervale, fell to 5. So we do have a new
Wow.
Wow.
top game. This one last year was number 5, though. So it definitely has moved up. It's moved up because, again, BGA is giving me the opportunity to play it more. And it is Carnegie. I really like this game. And I think the thing that really appeals to me on this game, which is different than some other games, is when I was trying to figure out what made it unique for me, I was looking at it and I'm like, you know what? There's no dice rolling. There's no cards getting flipped over. This is all strategic and you're playing each other. And it's just pure information in front of you, and you have to make the best of it. And my actions are going to affect the other people. It's one of those, I take an action, everybody follows. So you're trying to do different things, but you're also trying to maybe leave yourself a little wiggle room. So when Chris does one action that I'm not particularly ready for, I can at least do something, because to have a wasted turn is really painful. And I really like the theme of it. You are going out, you're investing in you have your business, you're trying to expand your network, trying to put industries and different out on the map. You're trying to do some route building and connecting to various cities together. But the main key feature and one important thing that you really need to do to win this game is during the game, there's going to be a number of times where you actually have to make donations. So you have to decide, do you have enough money, and am I making a donation, and that donation that you make is going to get you points at the end of the game. So those donations, you might be investing in industry, so you're incentivized to do more industries. I just really like the way that the game works together. Chris, I think we played it on BGA. I know it was a new teach for you at that time.
I had played it once before, but it had been 2 years since I had played it the first time. I do not recommend going 2 years between plays and not getting some kind of teach, because I was learning during that game and I got pounded.
Yeah, but I really like it because, again, there's a lot of games that have randomness. You're rolling dice. This one doesn't. There's some initial setup that's random, but then from that point on, you're making the best of what you got there. And that's what I really like about this game. And I think why it's elevated it up for me to number one.
Yeah, I remember playing this game with you, Pete. I think I was playing with Chris, too, like 2 years ago when we played this game. I remember playing that game. I remember the scores being very tight. I also remember liking this game a lot. And then somehow, through all the games that we've played and all the smorgasbord of games that come out every year, I just never got back to the table. But I did buy a copy recently because I know you've been talking about it a lot, and it's been itching for me to want to get this game back to the table too. So maybe that's another one we'll have to hit up. But yeah, hopefully I'll learn the game a little bit better than Chris, though, so I don't get smacked around.
Make sure you have the ability to move your meeples around, the HR ability or something. I did not have that in the second game. I was like, okay, I can't do that. I can't do it either.
Yeah, this is another game where you can paint yourself into a corner. You really have to give yourself those options to be able to do the different functions. You may not be 100%. And I think that's one of the when I play with Dave, he does really good about halfway, and then he's like, I got to do something different, and he hasn't planned for that next step. So you not only have to be looking at what you're doing, but what you're going to do in the future.
All right, Chris, number one.
My number one game is a pretty well-known game, and other than games that I've designed myself, I have played this one on a table more than any other game. I have 157 sessions when I wrote this. I've got a couple more since then, and I play three-handed solo, so you can triple that number as far as that type of experience. And each session is about 2 hours long. I have the online implementation as well. I've played that, 49 plays of other versions of this game. I've had a lot of experience with this one. My number one top game of all time is Gloomhaven, designed by Isaac Childress and published by Cephalofair Games. This is obviously a pretty well-known game. I won't describe all the details, but I don't have time to do that anyway because Gloomhaven is massive. What I do love about it, though, the card play is really fun, trying to find the combination on your cards, the top half of one card, the bottom half of another, not just for this turn, but to set yourself up for the next one, while at the same time being flexible for what may happen before or after your turn in that round, because you don't know when you're going to go until everybody plays their cards and the monsters turn theirs over. Then you find out, okay, I'm going fifth in this round. The board's going to look totally different by the time I take my turn. The variability from character to character, especially once you unlock new characters and they all have their own special abilities, they play very, very different from each other. Tons and tons of replayability, 95 scenarios plus a random scenario generator, 17 characters, 47 different monsters, personal and scenario goals, road and city events, various items, so on and so forth. Just so much stuff in here. And you can adjust the difficulty as you get better to make sure you always have a challenge. I'm on my second time through the campaign. The first time I played it until there weren't any more scenarios to do, and I still feel this game calling me to ignore all my responsibilities in life and just sit down at the table and hash out another scenario. This was number one on BGG for a long time. It got bumped a little over a year ago. It has now dropped to number 4, but for me, Gloomhaven is still my number one top game of all time. Wow. And nobody at this table will play it with me.
I've never been asked.
I would play
Sitting at home Friday by myself.
Well, I have played Jaws of the Lion. Dave and I have played it. I like that implementation of it. It gives me that, we'll call it Gloomhaven Light. You can set it up. You can play a session or two and be done with it. I know you said you have it set up on your table. I think the table presence on it is awesome. I love the gameplay. The card play incredible because you are making those decisions on what you have. And there's some card crafting too, because in the game, you're going to improve your character. So you're going to get different cards, which give you different abilities, and you have to make those decisions. And I think long term, I would love to do a campaign. I just don't know if I can jump in on your campaign, and
we would start over if we started a campaign.
A character.
But that's the great thing. You could come in a campaign. I'm halfway through, and you just you build a new character. You start at the level that we're at.
It is.
You build a level 4 character, and off we go.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I enjoy Gloomhaven. Good choice.
It's like I'm looking at the box in the room right now. Is Frosthaven? Is that expansion? What is that?
Frosthaven is its own standalone
game.
Same basic. I think you used to have Frosthaven and then you sold it, but it adds some new stuff
with buttons.
Buttons and Bugs is a solo version of Gloomhaven.
Okay.
Yep. It's its own little mini campaign. Again, one player.
Okay. I know I've seen the theme and the name and stuff at places.
Yeah, I had bought back when Kickstarter was going on. I backed it, the Frosthaven version, in anticipation. That was back in 2020 when all that other stuff was going on. I was looking at doing Gloomhaven because nobody could do anything with anybody anyways. But I waited, and Frosthaven finally came, and I got that big box, and I tried to pick it up. I think I almost hurt my back. I mean, there's a lot of content in there, and I still had it in shrink wrap, and this was a point where I was like, I don't know that I'm going to be able to invest the time to really appreciate it. So I just ended up selling it, and hopefully somebody else did. And it's just because it is one of those, not life games, but
it's kind of like a lifestyle game. Yeah,
you've
got to invest a lot of time.
Yeah, to set that up and devote that. I think I wish I was back, 14, 15 years old playing this on weekends with my buddies. I think it would be fantastic. And unfortunately, I got other roles and responsibilities at this point in time in life. But, retirement's coming soon.
Second half of your life. Still young. All right. Great. Number 1 for me is going to be Black Forest. This is done by Tito Lorenz and Uwe Rosenberg. BGG ranking of 614. So in Black Forest, you are developing your small little glassmaking domain in the woods of the Black Forest. So unique theme, like Black Forest, like we've not really seen anything kind of like that. We've seen like some foresty things, and but this is kind of reminds me of just like a little village out in Germany somewhere, being able to do your own thing. But I really liked how these resources all kind of work together on those little turntable wheels that you have. I know that's from another game as well, but I liked how tight the actual resources were, and there's very little room to moves those wheels sometimes where you're trying to get different things and you're just dying for porridge or something like that, and you're just waiting for somebody to give you anything. But what I really enjoyed in this game is traveling from village to village to see what you can get and chain it all together. And it's super satisfying to get the resources that you need to then potentially buy another building or something that you need to get you points that will help you chain as well and get you more resources. And the whole trade is just, in my opinion, just wonderfully difficult. It's hard. It's a hard game to get the things that you need to make your glass, to make higher priority or more difficult resources to get those and have them in your wheelhouse. But this is one of those games that I truly enjoyed. I would play this anytime. It was just fun.
I would not have predicted this for you, but it doesn't surprise me either now that you say it. I enjoyed the heck out of playing this game. We haven't gotten to play it much. This is the one that knocked off Revive. I said in an earlier episode we got that one wrong, but at the same time, it's good enough to where you can make a case that we got it right. Mm-hmm. This is a really fun game.
Yeah, the resource wheels and how that works, and you're kind of auto creating that glass, and sometimes you don't want that. You want that resource for something else.
Yes.
And other people can also influence your wheels, and that interaction I really do like. Great game.
And if and when I remember, I destroyed my resources one time because I was like, "Oh, I'm going to get all these resources by going to this obscure little town that was really just a goal that you could end up getting there and going to that area first." And I as soon as I turned the wheel, I was like, "No," because it knocked everything else back, and just the little. It's very finicky in that, but I don't know. It was a lot of fun. I just remember having a great time with the game, and I was concerned when it was first put out, and I'm like, I don't understand. Like, what are we doing? But the way it started to link and chain together, and you could play just the game, not fully understanding some of the resources, but going to the villages and understanding how to build and construct and do the thing and doing that part of the game, I should say.
Yeah, I also like that it's a very pretty game on the board. The board is very pretty, and the randomness of those cities too.
Yeah.
Because from game to game, even just moving a few tiles around can change it. And
Taking
then
the cart and moving that, and it changes the locations. And
yeah, there's some great puzzles in there. I really like this game too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this game was number 17 for me, so just outside my top 15, but really great game.
All right, well, that is our top 5 in this episode, but overall, those 3 episodes gave us our 15. So that is going to bring us today to the end of this episode. If you need to listen to the other ones, please go back in our catalog and listen to those. And we'd love to hear what you guys think of our top 15 lists and maybe who you guys might align more with on these lists. Let us know. You guys can send us an email at thefifthmeeple@gmail.com or hit us up on social media. And as always, we thank you guys so much for listening. And until next time, we hope you find yourself at the top of every list. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Adios, amigos.
What was that called again?
Poutine.
Okay.
Sweet.
You can cut that out.
I just, when we
A high suspension. Oh my goodness.
My ears are going to fall off.